Story 1. The Golden Thread. In a quiet, sunlit apartment in the heart of Chicago, an elderly woman named Eleanor sat by the large glass window every single afternoon. Her hand shook slightly with age, but she remained completely focused on her task, knitting a beautiful, thick blanket using a bright, golden yarn. The golden thread caught the afternoon light, casting a warm glow across the room. Sitting directly across from her was her husband, Robert. They had been happily married for over 50 years, a lifetime of shared laughter, quiet mornings, and deep affection. However, 3 years ago, a dark shadow fell over their lives. Eleanor developed a severe and progressive memory illness. Slowly, month by month, the pieces of her past began to drift away like autumn leaves in the wind. She could no longer remember her own name. She did not know the address of the apartment they had shared for decades. And worst of all, she no longer recognized the kind, gray-haired man who sat across from her every single day. Her mind had become a blank canvas, forgetting the beautiful life they had built together. Despite this heartbreaking reality, Robert's routine never changed. Every afternoon at exactly 2 o'clock, he would walk into her room with a gentle smile on his face. He would look at her lovingly and say, "Good afternoon. Beautiful." He would bring her a cup of her favorite chamomile tea, exactly the way she used to like it, with a small spoonful of honey. Then, he would sit down in his armchair and listen, with absolute patience as Eleanor told the same confusing, fragmented stories over and over again. She often thought he was a doctor or a kind stranger visiting the building, but Robert never corrected her with anger. He only listened, nodding his head and smiling warmly. One chilly Tuesday afternoon, a young nurse named Sarah, who came to the apartment twice a week to check on Eleanor's physical health, watched Robert from the doorway. She saw how carefully Robert wiped a small drop of tea from Eleanor's chin, and how tenderly he held her shaking hand when she became confused. Sarah felt a lump in her throat. She walked over to Robert while Eleanor was staring out the window and whispered quietly, "Sir, if you don't mind me asking, how do you do this every day? She doesn't even know who you are anymore. She thinks you are a stranger. Why do you spend every single ounce of your energy trying to make her smile? Why do you still show her so much deep love when she is completely unable to return it to you?" Robert looked at Eleanor, who was now softly humming an old, familiar melody from their youth, totally unaware of the conversation. He turned his eyes back to the young nurse, and Sarah saw that his eyes were filled with tears. Yet his expression was incredibly peaceful. He smiled softly, took a deep breath, and said, "Young lady, it is very simple. She may not know who I am anymore, but I still remember exactly who she is. She spent 50 beautiful years loving me with all her heart, supporting my dreams, and standing by my side through every storm. Now that her mind is in the winter of her life, it is my turn to love her for the both of us. True love isn't a business transaction. Sarah, it isn't about what you get back. It is about staying right by their side when the darkness comes, holding the light for them when they can no longer see." The young nurse stood in absolute silence, wiping a tear from her own eye. She realized that while Eleanor's mind had tragically forgotten the past, Robert's unwavering heart was holding onto the golden thread of their beautiful life. Together, proving that real love is completely immortal.